Oh, here we are. We're here again.
Been a while.
But we're back, my friends. It's the Last Fan Standing podcast, episode number 15. We are, We are do.
You're giving these people too much of a song.
Written and performed by One Direction. Why? Because that's what I do. Ladies and gentlemen, it is episode number 15 of the Last Fan Standing Wrestling Podcast. Nick's shaking his head. Why are you shaking your head, sir?
Because you were singing.
I was singing.
And it's something that we normally do on the No Holds Barred.
It's true, but you know what?
Song has never broken the way onto the Last Fan Standing.
It's true.
Up till now.
Well, barriers have to be broken down eventually.
I guess.
I got kind of a Fonz thing going with my hair here in the camera. Hey. All I need is my leather jacket and your mutton chops.
It works.
It works
perfectly. Just goes together.
Exactly. So again, episode 15, Last Fan Standing. We're going to be talking some WWE here based off of what happened on Raw this week. Really good episode of Raw. I actually feel like WWE is kind of hitting a bit of a creative high right now. The last couple of episodes and the last couple of pay-per-views have been really, really entertaining. So
for now, anyways.
For now, yeah. We have to, as traumatized wrestling fans, we have to take every little bit of positivity that we can possibly take out of the WWE product and just milk it for every little bit of enjoyment that it is, because I think at this point we all know that it's not going to last too long.
Oh God, no. Give it a few more weeks and then it'll be like dead.
Exactly. It'll last the 4 to 6 months until Cena comes back and gets rocket up his ass straight to the title.
Yeah.
Because that's the way that it happens.
That's the way that it goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we open this podcast with some breaking news. We thought we were going to, this was actually going to be kind of almost exclusive to us, but we waited a little bit too long,
It got taken away from us.
It got taken away from us. But you know what? We're still going to use this portion of our podcast to announce it to the world anyway. Twin City Wrestling has announced the date and venue for their next show. Their next show, at least in the South Shore. We don't know if... Sorry, that was my phone, sir. Okay. Nick's just like, oh my God, what was that? It was just my phone. See, my phone's going fucking
mental. Your phone
mental.
Doesn't like you.
No, it really fucking doesn't. Like it's searching for a driver right now that doesn't exist because I unplugged the goddamn phone.
Yeah.
What? Exactly. Yeah.
What?
America.
Anyways, back to
Twin City Wrestling. Exactly. So Twin City Wrestling's next show has been announced for Saturday, September 28th.
Down in Lunenburg.
The
social center?
I'm just going to grab
the social center.
The name of it here again. Community Center.
The
Lunenburg Community Center.
Where the old people go to play bingo.
Exactly. Will now be where the young people come to throw each other around a squared circle. So that's exciting. The next TCW show, I'm repping one of my 2 Twin City Wrestling shirts on the podcast today. And so it's really exciting. We can't wait to see Twin City Wrestling down in this part of the world again. Again, a rare Saturday night show from down here because they're usually booked for Friday nights.
They are.
But nonetheless, Twin City Wrestling, we're looking forward to that show. No confirmed matches yet. No future dates have been announced either. But the September 28th show is the next one. So we're going to have more information on that as it happens. As we can get it in on the podcast. And we don't wait when it's Twin City Wrestling related. We don't wait for it to be the wrestling podcast. If there's news, we're just going to tell you. So yeah. This is also the second podcast under our new kind of podcast schedule. Do it when we can do it kind of thing, but still keeping a weekly pace. We'll put it that way. It is, yeah, absolutely. Because you know what? We have lives.
Weekly. Before, when we only had one, was every second week.
Mm-hmm.
And that was good, but whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And we just through the summer we just found it so difficult to keep the weekly because I was working so much and you were in the process of moving, and it was it was not the easiest time to do a podcast. But fuck it, we got that taken care of. We're on our schedule. Booyah! Twin City Wrestling, Saturday, September 28th, Lunenburg Community Center, whatever. that same place. If you say Municipal Center, they're going to know. We have one viewer actually right now on the Ustream, which is Cody Nodding, who is one of the founding members of what we call TCW's Smart Mark Alley.
I saw that on Facebook.
Exactly. We made the joke sort of between the four of us. It's me, Cody Nodding, Justin Carver, and Rodney Broom. And we made the joke during the second half of the last TCW show in Bridgewater, because we were all sitting there, front row. We were all sitting together. We all had Twin City Wrestling shirts on. We were the loudest motherfuckers in the whole place. We started all the chants, or made them much louder. We were just like, we are the ultimate, like, we are the people that people talk about. Like, we are the people that's like, oh, look at those marks, look at those smart, just basically look at those marks down in the front row with their shirts and cheering and everything. So we're the people that so-called smart wrestling fans sort of make fun of. So we're like, well, fuck it. If that's who we're going to be, we might as well own it.
Okay.
If that's what people are going to say about us, then fuck it. We might as well own it. So I kind of leaned over and we made the joke amongst ourselves, like we should call ourselves TCW Smart Mark Alley, because it's four of us all sort of lined up in a row.
Yeah.
And Rodney thought it was hilarious, and Cody thought it was hilarious. So I came home that night and I made the Facebook page. And I actually think Cody was the first person I showed it to, and he just posted on it and he was like, this just made my night. This is awesome. So basically, you can find us on Facebook if you search TCWs and then in quotation marks Smart Mark Alley, Alley. You search for us on Facebook, you can find us, you can like the page. We're going to be putting up photos from the event. We're not going to give away results, or we're going to try very hard not to, because we don't want to sort of not spoil it, but if we do give results, it'll be a couple days after the show.
Well, I mean, yeah, and I mean, the guy from Tackle Box will have the shows up on Facebook, so I mean, you don't really want to take anything away from him, because he does good work.
He does, honestly.
It's excellent. I mean, the videos that he put up so far, and if you guys want to look at it, search Tackle Box.
Yeah, it's...
And channels on Facebook. Awesome videos. Awesome.
I'm pulling up my YouTube app here to see, just to make sure that we can find it. It's
what? Yeah.
Tackle.
That's usually how I find it.
Box. Is it like Tackle Box Entertainment?
No,
or
just Tackle Box.
Just Tackle Box?
And when you search for it, you have to search by channel.
Search by channels.
Yeah.
Channels?
And it's two fish hooks.
Yeah, here it is. Right on. So yeah, if you just search Tackle Box by channels on YouTube, you're looking for a logo with a couple of crossed fish hooks. That's what you're looking for, and it's like Tackle Box. I don't know if there is a subtitle for it, but it's just Tackle Box. Currently only has 8 subscribers. Subscribe to that shit, because I just subscribed to it
awesome.
now. So there's 9, but that's where the breakdowns, like the recaps of the Twin City Wrestling shows, that's where it gets uploaded. Great guy that does it. Actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he just recently followed me on Twitter.
Really?
Scott Simpson. Yeah.
Good guy.
Yeah, Scott just followed me on Twitter, and I followed him back. Find him on Twitter at Simpson957. So SIMPSON 957.
Get a life, loser.
Hey, Shiki, come on. Don't talk about Scott that way. Scott's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Or maybe you were talking about me. Anyways.
Possibly.
It was possible. Oh, jeez. I put my foot down and my foot touched something and I quick recoiled it back. Just before we go any further in this podcast, I have to reveal what a giant sissy I am. A couple of days ago, I came down to the basement, the No Holds Barred dungeon, and please don't X out. All right, there you go. I came down to the No Holds Barred dungeon, and there was a fucking snake down here. Little, just like grass snake, little garden snake thing. It was nothing, but I am my father's son, as they say, and I inherited from my father an intense, a fear/intense hatred for snakes. So that was something that I got from my dad, that and his hair, and so I do not like snakes at all. So I saw that, and I was just kind of like, you know how in a video game you walk into a room that has like 40 enemies in it, and you're just like, nope. And you turn around and you walk away. That was what that moment was. I saw the little snake. I was just like, nope. And I turned around and I walked back upstairs. And I didn't come back downstairs for like 4 days.
Well, like I said, if we see the snake, I will remove it for you.
That's beautiful. See, Nick gets to be the Nick gets to be the man, gets to be the hero around here. And I'm just like, I'm going to sit here and talk to people about stuff. So that's about it for Twin City Wrestling, aside from this last piece of great information here that Cody just dropped on us.
Really?
He said, Justin, I have news that'll make you happy.
Why?
So let's see. I was looking on my HDD, so his external hard drive, and found the footage of that shitty-ass Steiner Bulldog from the UCW exhibition show from 2012.
Seriously?
So, for those of you that don't know, Ultimate Championship Wrestling ran. I feel like we shit talk UCW so much on this. Whatever. Fuck it. They get a little butthurt, but whatever. UCW ran the exhibition show not this past year, but the year before.
Yeah.
And they headlined it with the Nasty Boys and Rick Steiner.
And we're like, okay, because we went to the first UCW show, which was at the arena.
The arena, Summer Explosion 3.
Yeah, and that was okay.
It was a good show. I still thought it was a decent show.
Yeah. And then we went to the exhibition.
Right. And wow.
Big downhill.
So
downhill fast.
Basically what it was the main event was booked as the Nasty Boys against, I don't even remember who they were wrestling. It was a couple of dudes that were supposed to be the bad guys, and
they were wrestling.
And it was like,
who were they wrestling?
Whoever.
That's the one ugly woman.
Yes,
that's
they
who
were
they
wrestling.
were wrestling.
Ugly women.
Ugly women.
But yeah, so they were wrestling somebody in a tag match, which was also a steel cage. And as we've talked about on this podcast, it was probably the worst steel cage match in the history of steel cage matches. And
when
that's
they
saying
actually
a lot.
got the steel cage put together.
Exactly. Didn't it take how long did it take them to put the cage up?
More than 45 minutes.
Holy shit. They say TCW's intermissions are too long. That was a little shout out to Dave Pellerin. Who, by the way, saw his first Twin City Wrestling show in Dartmouth after the last one down here in Bridgewater, really seemed to like the show. So, as Cody Nodding just put it in the chat, there's a reason 75% of the crowd left the place. Zing. Okay, there you go. Bill Scullion and Gary Williams. That was who they were wrestling. So Gary Williams, is a fucking legend around here in terms of independent wrestling in the Maritimes. Bill Scullion, I have never seen before. I know his nickname is Bloody Bill, so seems like he's one of these hardcore dudes, and that's fine. If that is what you are, then that's fine. So that was the match. And one of the Nasty Boys was in a fucking walking boot. So he'd either broken his ankle or broken his foot or something. So wasn't it like only one Nasty Boy and then fucking Rick Steiner?
Yeah.
So Rick Steiner took the place of one of the Nasty Boys, the guy that was in the walking boot. I'm not going to toss this accusation out there. What I'm simply going to do is I'm going to relay what I have heard from other people. A lot of other people say it seemed like Rick Steiner was drunk.
It would appear that way.
It just appeared that he was not in it. You know what I mean? Like did not have presence of mind. We'll put it that way. Mm-hmm. And I, for whatever reason, seem to have missed this spot because I cannot remember a bulldog in this match. But apparently there was one. But done by Rick Steiner to either Bloody Bill or Gary Williams, whoever it was. And apparently it was so bad. Apparently it was terrible. Again, I can't remember this spot, but apparently this is what happened. And I guess Cody Nodding has found the video footage of it. So with Cody's permission...
if you give it to us, we will put it up.
Exactly. If you give it to us, we will... Let's start talking some WWE. Oh, wait. Before that.
Oh.
If I recall, didn't Rick Steiner have a body slam challenge with one of the Hank FM DJs earlier in the day for advertising? That's possible.
Possibly early on in the day.
It could be.
It wasn't during the actual event itself.
Okay, but let's assume that did happen.
Okay.
And maybe it didn't. Somebody can correct us. Maybe it didn't happen. But let's assume for a second that it did. Number one, where is the fucking challenge for a professional wrestler to have a body slam challenge against a radio DJ? That's like me going up to Usain Bolt and going, I have a podcast. Let's race 100 meters for advertising. Why? What challenge do I present Usain Bolt unless I trip him and stomp his brains in and then try to run? And it would still be competitive.
I haven't agreed to this.
No, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's just like I don't think I agreed to this. That's a terrible Jamaican accent, by the way, but whatever.
Yeah.
Number two, who the fuck listens to Hank FM? No, I'm kidding. Hank FM's supposedly a decent radio station. I don't listen to radio, so it's hard for me.
It has some good music on it.
Has some decent music? All right, then.
Sometimes when I don't want to listen to either my phone or the flash drive or CDs.
So it's like fourth tier for you.
Yeah. Radio always is.
Fair enough.
Christ, it got dark.
Cody nodding. Confirmed. If you want the footage, I will gladly give it to you. Woohoo! Wow, it did just get overcast, didn't it?
Yeah.
I kind of thought the wind just blew the door shut, but the door's still wide open.
Door's still wide open.
That's not good.
Okay, wrestling.
Hurricane's coming. All right,
Wrestling.
Wrestling. We're going to talk some WWE.
Ooh.
Yeah, WWE.
Little bit French.
Fancy schmancy WWE. By the way, I guess I'll just for a second before we get into that, good luck this weekend to Twin City Wrestling's own R&R Express, Rick and Rodney Owens, who have a Ring of Honor tryout this weekend, as well as Wesley Pipes, who also has a Ring of Honor tryout this weekend. So, boys, good luck at your Ring of Honor tryouts.
News.
All right, WWE. Just want to talk about some notes about the Raw episode that happened on August the 26th. I know it's a couple of days late, but whatever. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Do-do-do.
Sorry.
Someone's calling Nick on his cell phone. Yeah.
Derek.
It's Derek?
Hello?
Hold on.
Okay.
We have a guest. Oh, wait. Wait for it.
Hello?
Hello, everybody.
What's up?
Hi.
Holy crap. Where are we?
We're everywheres and everywheres. Nick, you there, Richard? Yeah.
Derek's here. Derek! Richard!
Nick!
What's up?
Not too much, man. How's you guys doing?
Not too much. Just down in the basement recording a podcast.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Are you going to be in Bridgewater in about an hour?
For shizzle.
You're still? Okay.
Oh yeah,
I need help pulling the raft back out of the water. I was wondering if you were up to the task.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'll be in Bridgewater in about an hour, and then we can head out to the camp and grab everybody in my car if need be.
Oh no, I can. I got my car up here, so I can just meet you somewhere and we can go down.
This is good podcasting.
Yeah, for sure.
Meet me at my place. About 7-ish. That's what time I should arrive.
Cool. Where are you now?
I'm in Nicketow. I'm near Middleton.
Nicketow.
I'm heading home.
Nick's hometown.
You're down where I am, or down near Liverpool.
No, nowhere near.
Nowhere near.
No.
I guess I don't know where I am.
Geography on the Last Man Standing podcast.
Guess not.
Anyways, yeah, I'll see you around 7.
I could use some guys to help pull that thing up on the shore.
What is it?
No.
Is it actually?
Yeah, we're gonna put the wrap back, and we're gonna put it back where we got it from. Remember?
Oh yeah, but is it pulled in, or do we actually have to swim out and get it?
I'll be probably grabbing swim trunks to get it. I could use help, but you don't have to.
Well, I'll get a swim trunks, but I got my undies.
Oh boy. I might be able to find something at home for you.
What, you don't want to see my undies?
I'll try to find something.
It's a thong.
Yeah, something to burlesque to imagination.
Derek, do you have an extra pair? Something for Nick?
I might be able to dig out a pair of trunks if Nick needs them, yeah. That shouldn't be much of an issue.
I love the fact that Derek's voice is so loud.
And I
It
hear
picks
Justin
up
in the
perfectly.
background laughing, so if he wants to join, he's more than welcome.
Well, since you guys have joined us on our podcast, I might have to do that.
Be like old times.
Be like old times.
Minus dropping beer on the floor.
Oh, we never did that, sir.
Never happened. Never happened.
Never happened.
Never here, never was.
Anyways, we'll see you around 7 at your place then.
All right, cool. I'll call Deanna and tell her everybody's coming.
Okay.
All right. Bye, guys.
Meet you at 7.
Right on.
See you guys.
All right.
See you guys. Late.
Well, that was fun.
That was unexpected.
An impromptu visit from Derek and Richard on the Last Fan Standing podcast.
Which I guess you guys have heard about them.
Yeah.
On the first ever podcast that we did, we shared a whole bunch of stories. And God damn it, this was
not very good stories.
This was supposed to be a Last Man Standing, but this is so much like a No Holds Barred.
It kind of is, but
we've had call-ins.
yeah, but to be fair, that was an impromptu call-in.
Yeah.
That wasn't exactly on the schedule. But it's really funny.
Back to WWE.
Okay, back to some fucking wrestling.
Back to
Jesus
some
Christ.
fucking wrestling.
Main event
Raw
of Raw from this past week was Daniel Bryan being put in a gauntlet match against all three members of the Shield. And that was really, really well done. We haven't seen a gauntlet match in a long time, either on live television or on pay-per-view.
Right.
So it's actually been a while since we saw a gauntlet match, which was really, really cool. And I was talking about this with another buddy of ours, and he said it was just like there was a lot of talent in that ring. You know what I mean? Like you're talking about Daniel Bryan on the one side. You've got
Dean Ambrose.
Dean Ambrose, who, of course, if you don't know Dean Ambrose for whatever reason, but if you pay a lot of attention to indie wrestling, he was Jon Moxley on the indies. And you had Roman Reigns, and you had Seth Rollins, who was Tyler Black on the indies. Tyler Black from Ring of Honor.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, you have a lot of talented dudes being involved in this match. Reigns didn't really get to display a whole heck of a lot of it because his match ended in disqualification, as did Ambrose's. But it started with Seth Rollins, and it was so good because you could get to see 5, 6, 7 minutes of Seth Rollins as a singles competitor.
Yeah.
So that was very nice to see. You really don't.
He's just the guy that they used to end the matches, basically.
It kind of is.
He stands there until they're ready. He spears them. They go down. That's how the match ends.
Right, exactly. Well, that's Reigns, not Rollins. Rollins, it's all the same.
It starts with R.
Reigns, Rollins, tra-la-la.
Tra-la-la. That's right.
Whatever.
It's wrestling.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to make sense.
Exactly. Nothing.
That's my best Vince impression there.
Nothing has to. Sounds like a Vince Russo impression. It's wrestling. It doesn't have to make sense. Fuck you, Russo. Anyways, so gauntlet match main event, very good. First one we've seen in a while. It was just nice to see each member of the Shield get a little bit of singles action. And let's kind of stick with talking about the Shield for a minute because in this same conversation, I kind of had the debate very quickly with this buddy. It was Tyler Seelig.
Okay.
About whether or not we liked the Shield as this, like in this role that they're in right now, like where they almost feel sort of like corporate lackey kind of people. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, just not kind of like, hey, we do what we want to.
Right, exactly.
But if you want to pay us to do this,
yeah,
we will. Just not like, fuck the man, fuck the world.
Right.
This is what we're doing, and nobody can tell us otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. And like what they've done now is they've kind of turned into this like, I suppose I really shouldn't call them corporate lackeys because it's not the proper term, but like, okay, yeah, like the Mean Street Posse were corporate lackeys back in the Attitude Era, but these guys are more like they're basically like bounty hunter sort of things. Like they're getting paid for like security jobs and like basically getting paid for hits and stuff. They're basically hitmen, I guess.
Yeah.
And for a while, I've struggled with whether I like it or not because I loved the Shield when they came in. Like when they first came in, and it was just like they were sort of targeting people at random.
Yeah.
And it was just like you're waiting on the edge of your seat for the entire show, just waiting for that music to hit. Because as soon as the music hits, it's like, okay, shit just got real. Because here comes the fucking Shield.
Yeah, and you kind of, it kept you wondering. It's just like, why did they come down? Why did they come down and squash him? What did he do?
Right,
Why
exactly.
is this for justice?
Yeah, exactly. But then they would cut a promo and just be like, we are the Shield of Justice. And you're just like, you know what? I can buy it. He must have done something. But
yeah.
So I didn't really know whether I liked this the way that they're doing it now. Like I just didn't know whether I liked it or not. And the way that was kind of the way that that Seelig described it is he was like, well, it's kind of a situation where they're just like, we'll take paid, like if you're going to pay us to do this, then that's fine. We'll take your money. We don't have to necessarily support what you're doing, but we'll take your money. So they're just kind of like sort of paid kind of hitman, bounty hunter kind of thing. So I guess I like it. I don't like it as much as I did when they came in. But then he quite correctly pointed out that like soon after they came in, remember they worked for Paul Heyman.
Yeah,
basically. Supposedly, exactly.
Yeah,
like they worked.
That's how
they
it goes.
were supposedly paid off by Paul Heyman and Brad Maddox, but mostly Paul Heyman. And I was like, you know what? That's a good point. Fair enough. So they're kind of like a private military company or something. Yeah. It's just like special ops is here for you if you've got the money, and I can get behind that. So it was kind of iffy on it for a little while, but I suppose it's okay. Moving on, continuing on with what happened on Raw. I loved the way the show started. Because the way the show started was Triple H comes down, basically says like, the things that are happening to Daniel Bryan are not personal, but they're happening because Daniel Bryan made them happen. And he's like, I'm kind of pissed off with what he was saying to my wife and everything like that. So he's like, what's happening now with Daniel Bryan is Daniel Bryan's fault. But then he turns around, he calls Randy Orton down and gives him the present. Right?
Yeah.
Gives him the present, gives him a new Cadillac.
Yeah.
Classic fucking wrestling angle. Classic wrestling angle with your sort of rich heel or corporate heel or whatever comes down and says, here, I'm going to give this to you as a gift. And of course, being smart and experienced wrestling fans, after we saw that he was giving him a car, what were we waiting for?
To get smashed.
We were waiting for the car to get smashed because that's what always happens.
That's like when Daniel Bryan came out and started talking. I was just like, okay, he's going to do something to the car. He's going to do something. He's going to possibly. Maybe. No. And then they went to the commercial. I'm just like, they're not going to do it.
Just like, oh my God.
How can you not do it?
Exactly. And then we skip ahead to later in the show. Orton has a singles match with, I can't remember who his singles match was against. In any case, he beats him. and then Daniel Bryan comes on the screen. It's like, okay. And he's like, "Oh, bravo, Randy, bravo!" And then he asks a yes or I can't remember what he asked. He asked a yes or no question, which the answer to, or it was like, after Night of Champions, am I going to be the next WWE champion? And then he steps away, and behind him is a spray painted yes, and it's on the hood of Orton's new Cadillac.
It's all on.
And then it's all around the Cadillac as they just kind of go and they just circle around it and show all the places where he spray painted yes. And I'm just sitting there thinking, this is a classic wrestling story, like a classic storyline, classic angle that is being done perfectly in the modern time. Like it's not it's not like, oh my God, that's so stupid. That's been done before. No, it was done really, really fucking well, because you would think that, okay, maybe it's going to happen right away, but they don't. Like you said, they kind of tease it a little bit and then let it go long enough for you to forget about it and then come back to it, and they do it and it gets a big pop. So smart wrestling writing from WWE, and you can't say that very often.
No,
so again,
you can't.
We have to relish this because eventually we're going to go back to John Cena versus insert opponent here at pay-per-view, and Cena goes, I have to win this. This match is my life. And of course, what happens? He wins the fucking match. So until they inevitably go back to that, we have to enjoy every little bit of good wrestling writing that happens from here on out. Right?
Exactly.
Moving on. Booyah.
I have people walking by and they're talking.
Oh my God, we should go outside and ask them
if... Why do I have a wireless mic kicked up?
I don't know, sir.
I could just run out and interview them.
It's true, but you packed them away.
God damn it.
Fuck. Would the mic reach that far? Probably not.
Probably.
For the wireless signal?
Well, I had the big enough cord that...
Oh, that's right. You could have just said... That's true. That is very, very true. See, we're going to have this queued up next time. Somebody walks by, we're just like, can we get your comments on Randy Orton? They'd just be like, who are you?
Who are you? Stranger danger, stranger danger.
Stranger danger. Exactly. Friggin' stranger danger. Let's see. We have a couple of comments here from Cody Nodding. We're just going to keep randomly going back to Cody Nodding in this podcast. Why? Why not?
He's going to be the third person
exactly
on the podcast.
Talking about that video clip, it's a little big to send through email, so it'll have to wait. That's no problem. Wesley Pipes versus Michael Elgin, Hall of Fame material right there. So maybe that's who Pipes' tryout match is against, Michael Elgin. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah. Bryan Danielson versus Tyler Black. I'm assuming this is in reference to a Ring of Honor match. It was epic. That suplex from the top rope was insane. I was surprised they allowed them to do that with WWE's major strictness on risk factor. Oh, I see. He was talking about the first match in the gauntlet match.
Oh.
It was just like that yeah, the suplex spot from the top rope. Yeah, that was actually pretty friggin' cool, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like I say, this last episode of Raw was so good. So surprisingly good. And it's just like they're running on such a creative high right now. It's very cool. Surprised they allowed them to do that with WWE's major strictness on risk factor. That's very true. Like WWE is obviously very strict on how much risk is involved in a match and just toning stuff down compared to like the indie show, which is good and bad. It's safer for the guys, but then at the same time they don't really learn how to be risky but still survive it. You know what I mean? And then it reminded me a lot of Austin Rock angles. Yeah, absolutely. I'm assuming this is in reference to the Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan thing. Absolutely. Definitely was reminiscent of good Attitude Era angles, and that is, I mean, that timeline-wise, that's our shit, right? Like that's our money-making time in wrestling.
Oh, for sure.
So, booyah. Let's see what else we have to talk about. What do we have to talk about this week?
Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman, CM Punk, the continuation of that storyline, and it reached a whole
awesome.
new level this week.
It was so awesome.
It was one of those moments that, like, while it's happening, it feels like, you know, when it feels as emotional and raw and strong, really, as when Punk had the urn that supposedly had Paul Heyman's ashes in it, and he dumps it out, and he like bathes himself in it.
Whose ashes?
Paul Bearer.
There you go.
Paul Heyman's ashes. Punk takes Heyman's ashes and just rubs them all over himself. No, but yeah, in the whole build up to the WrestleMania match, when he's like bathing in Paul Bearer's ashes and beating the Undertaker down with it, and just like, holy shit, they fucking went there. Cody just asked us about AJ Lee's promo. We're actually going to get to that right after we talk about this. But yeah, the CM Punk Paul Heyman stuff was just phenomenal. Punk had a match with Curtis Axel.
Yes.
Who is, of course, the newest Paul Heyman guy.
Which Paul Heyman was out.
Yeah, Paul Heyman was on top of the ramp.
Yeah.
And it was one of the WWE app, the WWE Universe, the votes. Exactly. Yeah. So there were 3 stipulations. Either Paul Heyman was banned from ringside, Paul Heyman was a special guest referee, or if Punk wins, he gets Paul Heyman has to step into the ring with him. So obviously Heyman having to step in the ring won by a landslide, because that's what everybody wants to see.
Yeah. It was so good because Paul Heyman tried to get away.
Yeah.
And first the referees drugged him out.
Yeah.
And he was thinking about it. Then he tried to get away again, and security brought
and then
him
security
out.
grabs him.
They're like, no. This is going to happen.
No. Please, Punk. I'm sorry. It was all Brock's idea. And like, Heyman is such a good talker that pretty much anything he says, it just really gets over. So obviously, Punk beat Axel. Everybody knew that was gonna happen, but it was perfectly fine. It didn't matter that we knew who was going to win the match. We wanted to see what happened after.
Yeah.
So that happened. He finally gets Heyman in the ring, and he's got him like pinned up in the corner, like grabbed by his collar and stuff, and it was just like, you're gonna get it. Axel comes up from behind and low blows Punk.
Yeah.
So now Punk's down and hurting, and Heyman pulls handcuffs out of his pocket. It's like, okay, this is getting even better. So Axel handcuffs Punk.
Mm-hmm. Then he goes out of the ring.
And
produces
gets
a kendo stick.
But even before that happened, they had him handcuffed, and they were both like just berating him and yelling at him or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Punk jumps up from his knees onto his feet and kicks Axel in the head.
Yeah.
So he's still handcuffed, but he knocked out Axel with a kick. So then Heyman's just like, oh my god, oh my god.
And then he kicks out one of Heyman's legs.
Kicks out his legs, and he's just stomping on him or whatever. And that gives Axel the time to go out of the ring and get the kendo stick.
Yeah.
And then gets a chair. First. Hits him in the ribs with a chair, throws the chair out. They get a kendo stick. He gives the kendo stick to Heyman. So Heyman's like maliciously like spinning the kendo stick in his hand.
Yeah.
And Punk gets up on his knees and he looks up at him and he's just like, "You better make it count, you son of a bitch." And it's just like, is there any debate that this guy can put the most amount of emotion and fan intensity into an angle? I don't think anybody, with all due respect to Daniel Bryan and the other guys that are really good at doing that, you can't creatively, I don't think you can touch Punk, especially when he's doing something with Heyman. So
I kind of liked it when he had him over like at the ropes.
Yeah.
When Curtis Axel was holding on to Punk when he was handcuffed.
Mm-hmm.
And Paul Heyman had the kendo stick.
Right.
And it's like, "I fathered you," and then slapped him. "I loved you."
Exactly.
That is fucking excellent.
It was so good. And it's just like, he gave him the one hit after he was like, you better make it count, you son of a bitch, and he nailed him. And then Axel picked him up, held him against the ropes, and he was just like, "I loved you." Wham! "I fathered you." Wham! "I supported you." Wham! And just going and going and going. And you think they're going to stop, and he just keeps going. Gets him out of the ring, and he's just like hammering him against
that was so brutal.
Just going and going and going. And before this segment actually started, they sat down together backstage and was like, the only way this is going to work is if you destroy me with this cane.
Yeah.
Like, you, as stiff as you can,
Yeah.
just destroy me with this.
And it showed, during the
my
commercial on the
God.
WWE app, which everybody should have
Right.
if you are a WWE fan.
Not to be corporate dick suckers, but you should have this app because it's worth it.
Not that we're like sponsored by WWE or anything, because we're not.
No. Although it would be nice,
Although it
WWE,
would be
wink,
nice.
wink.
Yeah.
We give a lot of play to your product.
But Android and Apple phones, go get that shit.
Yeah, go get the WWE app because it's definitely worth it.
But his back was mangled.
It really was. Oh, absolutely. And then, like Cody Nodding just pointed out here, he's like, I like how Heyman actually looked like he was crying when he got interviewed after the segment. And yeah, when Heyman is walking away, he leans against the ring and he's just like got his hand over his eyes and is just like, it's so good. And like, I know people can turn around and they can bitch about it. And just like, oh, I remember seeing one person online that was like, it was too melodramatic. I was like, motherfucker, it was emotion. It's emotion in wrestling. And yeah, it's a little over the top. Paul Heyman's been a little over the top his whole career,
Well,
CM
yeah.
Punk as well. But it was so good. Like, compared to what we usually get with the WWE product, take this shit and run.
Oh,
because
definitely.
this was head and shoulders and perky tits above what we usually get. So, it was much better.